Hi everybody, Lori here. If you're new to my channel, hi, this is Lori Book Trials. And today I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a while, and that is a book review for Red, White, and Royal Blue. I bet everybody's getting tired about these reviews for Red, White, and Royal Blue. But oh my gosh, you guys, this book was so good. So it's a little bit in the future, because it's like it starts in our year, which is 2019 of course, but it ends up in 2020, right before the re-election. And in this book, the mother of Alex is the president of the United States. So in this reality, instead of it'd be like if Hillary won instead of Trump. I don't get into political stuff, so I'm not going to talk about, if I think that's a good thing or not. But, if that would have been a good thing or not, I should say. Because I don't like to do that. But I don't mind, books being political. And I don't mind if other people, talk about who they like and don't like. But for me, it's just not my thing. I just do not believe in talking about it. But I love this book, and I loved Alex's mom, and his dad, and his stepdad, and his sister. I just liked everything. But this is, see what happens with him and the Prince of Wales, is it? I always forget. Yeah, I think it's the Prince of Wales. But anyways, they get into a little, something happens at a wedding, and Alex does something, and because of that, they have to make nice with one another, and of course, it's about from hate to love type of relationship. So it's really good. So Alex is the son of the president of the United States, and Henry is I think the grandmother is the queen over there, or I don't know exactly if she took over for Henry's mom or what exactly. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not sure about that part, but I really loved it. It's one of my favorite books of the year. Gave it 6 stars, and I was surprised I was gonna like it because I'm not really a romance person, and also I'm not really like I said, I don't really like political stuff. I just don't I don't understand political stuff, so that's why I would never know. I vote and stuff, but I've been voting in the past, but I never know if I'm voting for the right person or not, because I don't understand what you're looking for. But anyways, that's enough about that. But I like that this one had the political stuff in it, but it wasn't overshadowed. It had Henry and Alex were awesome, and then they had I always forget what the other people's name is. I know there's their friend Nora, Alex, and Alex's sister. I always forget what his sister's name is for some reason. Let me see it. June. So Nora is Alex and June's best friend, and I can't remember if she's bi or gay. I don't know. I can't remember if she's bi or what. Nora. June, I think. I'm trying to remember if June is gay or if she, because she does like that one, she does like Henry's brother. Not brother, why am I saying Henry's brother? Oh gosh. She kind of has a flirty thing with Henry's best friend. Sorry about my hair. But it's really good. That's a little bit of a spoiler, but it ain't really a spoiler because you don't even know who I'm talking about yet. I'm going to take a bite of my cupcake. I hope you guys don't mind. I got this really good cupcake when we were at Walmart today. It's a what do you call it? A strawberry cupcake, like a strawberry cheesecake cupcake. It's so good. So good. Yeah. So I'll be snacking on that. I hope you guys don't mind. But I got a sweet tooth. But anyways, so something happens, like I was saying, and he has to go to the Brit. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He has to go to where Henry lives, and they have to make nice and pretend like they're friends. Okay. So that's the gist of what it's about. But the next part is going to be really spoilerly. Let me say that word. So if you haven't read the book yet, then go and read it, and then come back and watch my review of the spoiler part. Okay. While everybody's leaving, I'm going to take another bite. Then we'll start talking again after I know everybody's gone. Because by the time I'm done biting this and eating it, then whoever doesn't want to be spoiled should be away. I'm sorry about outside. They're Rob's cutting the bushes or something. But okay, spoilers. So of course, Henry and Alex fall in love. Of course, that's a gimme. But there's a lot of things that happen. Like first they fall in love and they sneak around. No one knows it, that they're together. And then other people start to find out. Like, of course, his friends don't care. Like his sister and his best friend Nora, they don't care. And Henry's best friend doesn't care. And, Alex's mom doesn't care. I mean, she's kind of, like what you call it. She's like, before I might lose this election because of this, make sure. Basically, she was like, if you're all into this, then I'm with you 100%. That she didn't care, about the election or anything like that, which I really loved. And Henry's grandma didn't know at first, and either did Henry's mom. The sister did, because there's this real neat part where they're all, like at I think it's a bar, and they're like doing karaoke and stuff, and Henry gets all drunk and start dancing, and they all start dancing really, and when Henry starts singing, it's so much fun. And what was I gonna say next? But there is some serious stuff. Like, you find out that Henry's father died when he was really young. And because of his dad dying so young, sometimes he has, issues, like a little bit of being angry a little bit. And I love Alex because he's talking to Henry's sister. And he's like, tell me, how, how he's feeling, because, this has never happened to me. I still, he's basically like, I still have my dad, and stuff like that. And she was explaining to him how, like, how about losing one of your parents so young, how it can affect you and stuff. That part made me cry, because even though my dad passed away when I was like 20, I think I was like 25 or 26 when my dad passed away. But it was still really hard, and it's still hard to this day, thinking about him, because I miss him so much, even now, when it's been almost 25 years, because that's how old I am, you guys. I'll be 49 in August, so next year I'll be 50, so, yeah. So, anyways, so he's been gone for, like, almost half of my life. But luckily, I was lucky, to have him alive still for when me and my husband got married. Unfortunately, he wasn't around for any of my kids, which was sad. Like I was pregnant before he passed, like a little bit before I had a miscarriage right before he passed away. Or before he got sick, I should say. But, that was hard on me, especially since he didn't get to see any of his, any of my kids being born, and being raised, and things like that. So that was really hard. But at least I had, like, memories of him, giving me away at the wedding and everything like that. So I had, memories of that. Sorry, I was waiting for them to get through. But yeah, so I had that to get, but it's still hard. So that part made me really, like, tear up and really, start to feel sad. But then another thing happened is people find out because someone, I'm not going to tell you that part, but someone, like, gets information, like, has someone follow them around, and they take pictures, and they find out that they're together. The first time, they were trying to pretend like it wasn't real, like, Henry was pretending like he was dating, Jane, I think that's her name, and Nora was pretending like, because I think Nora's bi, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, she pretends like she was dating Alex. And then, of course, they wind up finding out that that wasn't true, and that really Henry and Alex are together. And then the grandma, or whatever she is, Henry's grandma, of course, doesn't like it at all. Yeah. She does not like it. She wants them to pretend like it was fake. She said, we have ways to pretend, make it look like it was faked, and, but they didn't want that. And Henry's mom, she kind of, like, ever since, her husband died, she's kind of, like, let the grandma raise the kids instead of her, and, take over everything. And yeah, and she finally stands up to her mom, and even says that she's gonna go. I forget what it was, but she was gonna use some information to blackmail her mom, because she said, it's about time, that she started, standing up for her, being there for her children and stuff like that, which I loved. And then we get this whole thing about, I always forget what Alex's sister, not Alex's, Henry's sister's name is. Let me see if I can find it. And then I'll tell you the part where, what I was talking about her finally, Catherine, that's Henry's mom. starts finally supports and what she says about going to what's that word, blackmail her kind of if she doesn't but anyways, I'm trying to find the sister's name. B. I think her name's B. I think that's Henry's sister's name is B. Anyway, I think she was on drugs or something. I can't remember, but she was like, had things that happened in her history and, bad press and everything like that. So I liked her, but they have an older brother, which I can't even remember what the other brother's name is. Let's see if I can find the other brother's name. But he's a jerk, the brother. Oh, Philip. Philip is the oldest brother. He's the jerk. He's really... But I love how, like, Henry starts, like, stand up to his family and stuff like that. He said, but his brother, Philip, says something about, this is the life we live, Henry. You always known it. I've tried to tell you I wanted to be a good brother to you, but you don't bloody listen. It's time to remember your place in this family. Be a man. Stand up and take responsibility. Fix this. For once in your life, don't be a coward. Can you believe him saying that to his brother? I put, what a major ass. And then it says, Henry flinches like he's been physically slapped. Alex can see it now. And so on. And then he says to his brother, he sticks out his chin, Henry does, to his brother and says, I'm not a coward, he said, and I don't want to fix this. And then Philip starts, a harsh, humorous laugh. And he says, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't possibly know. And he says to Philip, F off, Philip. I love him, Henry said. Oh, you love him, do you? Blah, 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 and all this other crap. And then he was saying that he would effing abdicate, or how do you say that word? And then, let me see, and then, I like this part too, what he says. Wait a minute, let me see if that's still Alex. I think that was still Henry. Yeah, he says, I've sat about long enough, letting you and Gran and the weight of the damn world keep me pinned, and I'm finished. I don't care. You can take your legacy and your decorum, and you can shove it up your effing arse. And then he said to Philip, I'm done. I put down, hell yes, you tell him. And then it says, Alex's mouth hanging open. Henry leaves, and it says, Alex's mouth hanging open, remains frozen in his seat for a few seconds. Across from him, Philip is looking red-faced and queasy. Alex clears his throat, stands and buttons his jacket. Then he says, for what it's worth, he said to Philip, that is the bravest son of a bitch I've ever met. And he leaves too. I love that part. But, then Catherine is trying to stand up to her mom, and then her mom starts being an a-hole. I think that's what his mother's name, I think, is Catherine. Yeah. And she's talking about how, I don't know why you've chosen to undermine my hard work, blah, blah, blah. Undermine everything I've done, all my hard work that I've done to maintain the crown. Standing is beyond me. And why you seem set on disputing my effort to restore it by demanding I submit with some boy. Here, a nasty lit to her polite tone under which Alec can how do we say that word? From everything from his race to his sexuality. When you were told to await orders, it is truly a mystery. Clearly, you have taken leave of your senses. My position is unchanged, dear. Your role in this family is to something perpetuate. How do you say that? When you have more kids, when you have kids. our bloodline and maintain the appearance of a monarchy as ideal of British excellency, and I cannot allow anything less. Then she's trying to stand up to her mom, and she's like, Mom, she said evenly, don't you think we ought to at least have a conversation about our options? It says, the Queen's head turned slowly, and what options might that be, Catherine? Well, I think there's something to be said for coming clean. It could save us a great deal of face to treat it not as a scandal, but as an intrusion upon the privacy of the family and the victimization of a young man in love. Which is what it is, Beak chimed in. We could integrate this into a narrative, Catherine said, choosing her words with extreme precaution. Reclaim the dignity of it. Make Alex an official suitor. And then Catherine's mom says, I see, so your plan is to allow him to choose this life. And then Catherine says, it's the only life for him, the honest life, Mom. And then, of course, the Queen's being a bitch again, and then Henry's like, stop it! You can't intimidate me into submission forever. And then he talks about how he knows it would be scary and stuff, but he's gonna stay with his man, basically. Oh, and then there's a part where, like, it tells you that the Queen has them come in through a different door because she's saying, there's what do you want to call it? The press, and they're gonna eat you alive and be mean to you and stuff like that. But this part shows that she's lying. They're all fighting, and then B, Henry's sister, is like, oh, will you all shut up for a second? And then she was watching a news report, and on it says, worldwide support pours in for Prince Henry and first son of the U.S. It says the room fell silent at the images on the screen. A rally in New York outside the Beckman, decked out in rainbows with waving signs that said things like first son of our hearts. A banner on the side of the bridge in Paris that reads, Henry and Alex were here, and all this other stuff. And I put down, aww, because they had like t-shirts made, and yeah, it's talking about history was made, and yeah, stuff like that. And then the Catherine is getting ready to open up the blinds, and the grandma's like, no, don't, Catherine, don't. And then they open it up, and everybody's outside, and they're like, have like the American flag and all this other stuff out there. And then Catherine turns to Henry and says, oh, my love, and pulls him into her chest. Somehow, even though he's nearly a foot taller, Alex has to look away. Even after everything, this feels too private for him to witness. The Queen clears her throat, blah, 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 and starts talking about, this hardly represents the country, blah, 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 blah. And then Catherine says, Jesus Christ, Mom. And then she's like, this is why I didn't want you guys to see this, because you guys are so soft, and you guys will think that this means everybody's going to support you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, the Queen's name is Mary, by the way. And she's talking about, you will not speak to me this way, blah, 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 blah. And then Catherine's like, I'm 60 years old, Mom. Can't we, it's something decorum at this point? And her mother's like, no respect. Then she says, this is where she threatens her. She says, I do think Labor is rather finished with the old guard. I wonder if I were to mention those meetings you keep forgetting about, or the names of the countries you can't quite keep straight, if they might decide that 47 is perhaps even enough years for the people of Britain to expect you to serve. And then she's like, you wouldn't dare. She said, "Wouldn't I, Mom? Would you like to find out?" And then I loved what she says to her son. "I'm so sorry, Henry. I failed you. I failed all of you. You needed your mom, and I wasn't there, and I was so frightened that I started to think maybe it was for the best to let you all be kept behind glass." Then she says to her mom, "Look at them, Mom. They're not props of a legacy. They're my children, and I swear on my life and Arthur's, I will take you off the throne before I will let them feel the things you made me feel." I put, yes, yes. And then some other stuff happens, but I just love that. And then Alex is leaving to go back home, and it shows him. It shows him stopping, because they had this discussion about who would be Princess Leia and who would be Han Solo, and Alex said that he would be Han Solo and Henry would be Princess Leia. And then he's looking outside or something, and he says, stop the car. It says, "Up close is beautiful." It says 2 stories high. He couldn't imagine how someone was able to put together something like that so fast. It was a mural of him and Henry facing each other, haloed by a bright yellow sun, depicted as Han and Lee. Henry in all white, starlight in his hair. Alex dressed as a scruffy smuggler, a blaster at his hip, a royal and rebel around the arms around each other. I put, wow, just wow, I love that part. It said he snaps a photo on his phone and, fingers shaken, types on the tweet. Never tell me the odds." And then, of course, the last little bit is the election. Is she gonna win? Things like that. And there's a part where Alex comes out to everybody, and he has this really beautiful speech and everything, which I really, really, really loved. It says, "I am and have been first, last, and always a child of America. You raised me. I grew up in the pastures and hills of Texas, but I had been to 34 states before I learned how to drive." And he talks about this stuff. And then he says, "Years ago, I met a prince and though I didn't realize it at that moment, his country had raised him too. And then he's talking about how the truth is Henry and I have been together since the beginning of this year. The truth is, as many of you have read, we have both struggled every day with what this means for our families, our countries, and our futures. The truth is, we have both had to make compromises that cost us sleep at night in order to afford us enough time to share our relationship with the world and on our own terms." He said, "But we were not afford that liberty. The truth is always simple this. Love is demotable, how do you say that word? America has always believed this. And so, I am not ashamed to stand here today where presidents have stood and say that I love him. The same as Jack loved Jackie, the same as Lyndon loved Lady Bird, or London, how do you say that name? Every person who bears a legacy makes the choice of a partner with whom they will share it. When the American people will hold beside them in hearts and memories and history books. America, here is my choice." I put on and have some hearts there. It says, "Like countless other Americans, I was afraid to say this out loud because of what the consequences might be. To you especially, I say, I see you. I am one of you. As long as I have a place in the White House, so will you. I am the first son of the United States, and I'm bisexual. History will remember me." And then it goes on just to talk about, about that they should, basically, re-elect his mom. And then stuff happens. And yeah, and of course well, you guys can find out, but you guys should know what's gonna happen. If they stay together or not, you should figure out. But it was so good, you guys. Like, I loved it so much. I definitely thought it was like one of my favorite books of the year. And I'm really like, I'm probably gonna reread it before the end of the year because it's like really like an uplifting story to me. Like I think part of the reason why I love this so much was because of because these two were just so cute together. They're probably gonna be like one of my favorite like couples in books. That's how much like they affected me. Like I cried, I laughed, I had all the emotions. Like I was cheering, like they were, like I knew them and stuff. Like it was really good. Like it really sucked me into the story. I will say at times it was a little slow. And some people, if they're not like into politics, might not like it, even though I'm not really into politics, but I loved it. So, but I don't think it was too much of that. And while there was sex in the book, it was more like fade to black, like it wasn't very long ones. There might have been some pages where it was kind of long, but it was not like super detailed and stuff like that. But it gave you enough details that kept you happy, at least me happy. But yeah, about the only thing I would say is that it's kind of slow, and it does have political topics in it, so just be aware of that. There is like talk about drug use. I think she was into heroin, maybe. I can't remember what drug B was into, but yeah, so there's that. But I loved it. Like, yeah, I definitely think it was worth the hype. I definitely do. I know some people thought it was kind of slow, and there were certain things that people didn't like about the book, but I loved it. I just thought it was like so good, and a lot of it feels like, because it's so, since it's like in our world, but a little bit ahead too, it just seems like a lot of this stuff could really like happen already, or maybe already happened and we didn't know about, But yeah, I loved how Henry did have his moments of doubt between them. Like if he, like there was a time where, he didn't want to like basically come out, like he wasn't, he wasn't like at first like big on the idea of ever coming out as gay, because he's gay. That's what he identifies as. While as I read just now, Alex considers himself bisexual, and Henry, like I said, is all 100% gay. So yeah, and I like how that didn't, I don't know what the word is, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I liked how one was like so accepting of who, once he figured out that he was gay, Alex, like he was really like, what's that word, accepting, like he just like, he accepted it, and he was all into being with Henry. Why it took Henry longer, but that's because, like I said, Henry didn't have the support like Alex did. Like Alex's mom, sister, and dad, and even stepdad, all four of them were like, they had, they had that acceptance. You know what I mean? Like how some people can't accept, like if their child's gay or a lesbian or whatever, you identify as. But I like that his parents were acceptive, how do you say that word? And it was kind of sad that Henry's wasn't, that his grandma was a witch, and his brother, even though his brother towards the end kind of like wants to change. But I don't know if they're going to let him stew for a while because he was mean to them a lot. And there's some stuff I didn't talk about according to B, that has to do with B. Well, I told you guys about her drug thing, but I didn't tell you like all that she went through. So, yeah, you would have to read it to find out what all she went through. But yeah, it was so good, you guys. And I'm so glad that Philip's mom finally had a backbone and, stood up for her child, I was like, if you don't accept him, if you don't do this with Mom, then I'm going to do this. I love that. And I love the ending. It was just so good, you guys. Like, oh my gosh. I loved it. Like I said, the only really bad thing is that it was slow in parts. You knew that they were going to get together. Well, I just blew it right there, but you guys knew you guys knew they were going to get together anyways. But yeah. But it was just so, I liked the journey of them getting together. I know it was slow at parts and times, and it was, you knew what was going to happen, so, but the way everything happened, how it got there, I loved so much. I loved the journey. I loved how much these two were in love with each other. And, once Philip decided that he was going to, be all for his relationship with Alex and, not be damned, what people think, then, that was awesome. That was just a sight, or not the sight, but, a thing to read. That part was like, oh, wow. Yeah. Like, I read you guys that one part with the mom, but it's so much more powerful when you read it than if you hear somebody else read it. Because, yeah. But this is definitely good. Oh, boy. Yeah. I don't know who I would pick as a favorite, to be perfectly honest. Because I love Alex, but sometimes Alex seemed too good to be true. And Henry felt more like, like real, I guess, because, like he has to overcome so much, like he had so many strikes against him because, his mom at first wasn't there for him, his grandma, they kind of knew, I think, in the back of their mind that he was gay, but they just, wouldn't recognize it. But yeah, so it was really sad that he didn't have that support. But when he got that backbone, yeah, and it just his side felt more real because, a lot of parents at first might not be so accepting of, their child being, queer, lesbian, whatever they identify as. And, so, but there are parents that will be very accepting. And then there's some that will never accept it, and then there's some that it takes a while to accept. So, yeah, but it was a really good book, you guys. Definitely a good book. I would definitely recommend it. It will make you happy. It'll bring a smile on your face. You'll laugh. You'll cry. You'll fall in love with Alex and Henry as they fall in love with each other. And you'll fall in love with his sister and Henry's sister and Alex's sister and Alex and Alex's sister's best friend, and you'll fall in love with Henry's best friend. All of their relationship is so neat, and I love the friendships in this book so much. But I'm going to let you guys go because this is 40 minutes in a minute. It's going to be over 40 minutes. But let me know if you read it. Well, of course, if you haven't read it, you wouldn't have been able to, you wouldn't be watching it anymore after that one part. But if you have read it, if you're watching this and I know that you read it, then you can comment down below and let me know what you thought about it. But yes, I loved it. Definitely recommend it. Made me happy. made me cry, just gave me all the feels. But I love you guys. Remember, if you guys like this video, thumbs up. If you guys haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. Remember to hit that bell icon so you'll know whenever a video of mine is available for your enjoyment. And I will catch you guys all later. Lori out. Mwah. Sorry it was so long.